All right, the new 𝙀𝙓𝙋𝘼𝙉𝘿 banner is here, and I had an absolute blast testing them out last night. Check out some of our other videos and some of the videos to come on some of the testing. I have a complete build guide, all that goodness. But let's go ahead and kick into it. All right, first things up is Prime Gaming. Now, there is a new benefit if you are an Amazon Prime subscriber, which I bet a lot of you are. All you got to do is link it to your Twitch Prime account, or your Twitch account, I should say. You'll get in-game content. They'll give you a unique code. You just redeem that in-game. You'll get yourself 60 gems, 40,000 credits, and 5 Litecoin EXP. I really wish, I don't know why companies don't do like 150, at least make it one singular summon, or 160 or whatever the amount of summon is. That would be a lot better, but you know, free is free, so free is better than nothing. All right, next up we have the developer radio, Voice of the Galaxy. Now, the developer has responded to a bunch of questions, supposedly. I haven't read through, I'm reading through these questions live on the recording right now, so let's go ahead and go through it together. All right, first question: why can't I chat with my friends after adding them? I want a chat system. Is that honestly an issue? Do people actually chat in game? But they did say the chat system will be implemented by version 1.1, which is effectively in like 3 weeks, so I guess that's really cool. By then, everyone will be able to chat with their friends in game. I didn't actually know that was a thing. Do people actually chat in game typically in a lot of the other games like Genshin Impact? I've never done it once, but maybe that is a thing. All right, next up we have 𝙀𝙓𝙋𝘼𝙉𝘿's ultimate has too many flashy effects. It hurts my eyes after seeing it a lot of times. Can it be optimized? Yes, please, for the love of God. I feel like I'm gonna have epilepsy every single time I watch that ultimate. Now, I don't have epilepsy, don't worry about me, guys, but it is a little too flashy in the face. After receiving feedback from Trailblazers about the issue, the crew is actively working on finding the best solution to optimize this. We plan to add the relevant options into the game settings for Trailblazers to personalize this parameter. Now, is this just specifically for 𝙀𝙓𝙋𝘼𝙉𝘍, or are they going to allow you to change other aspects at the same time, maybe per character? I don't know. As this feature requires extra development and testing, it will not be available for version 1.1. We strive to implement this as soon as possible. Well, this is a good thing. If there's any alt that I'm sick of watching, it is honestly 𝙀𝙓𝙋𝘼𝙉𝑍𝑙's alt. Almost every other alt in the game is fine. I can't think of another one that really annoys me as much as hers, but it's still a really nice alt, so, take that with a grain of salt. All right. It's so difficult to find monsters that drop character ascension materials on the world map. Is it possible to mark them on the map? Whoa! No problem. In version 1.1, Trailblazers will be able to click sources and see the location of corresponding enemies on the map. Yo, this is Pog. This is Pog. So this is actually really good. So you can optimize your farm routes depending on what materials you need. Now, I don't think most people are clearing this every day, or maybe you are. It'll be very rare you run out of some of the secondary materials that you get from this. It does happen, and I did run out of them on my 𝙀𝙓𝙋𝘼𝙉𝘍, but I had enough to get as far as I possibly could. You're probably only farming this or doing a route maybe once a week, maybe twice a week, or maybe you're doing it every day. I don't know. But this is really nice where you can target the enemies you actually need. All right, next up, in the 𝙀𝙓𝙋𝘼𝙉𝑍𝑙, did I pronounce that right? 𝙀𝙓𝙋𝘼𝙉𝑍𝑙. I think I got that right. No, let's continue on. In the 𝙀𝙓𝙋𝘼 storyline, the content related to the Sanctus Medicus seems really abrupt in force. It did. It seemed actually really awkward and kind of out of place. After assessing the feedback from Trailblazers, the crew has decided that the current placement of the Sanctus Medicus missions in the story will negatively impact the overall narrative experience. Therefore, in future updates, the crew will adjust the quest structure and alter all Trailblaze missions related to the Sanctus Medicus into the adventure missions. So I think they're making them into the side quest missions, which is honestly where they should be, because the Sanctus Medicus really does not have a whole lot to do with the main story. I guess it does. If you're that far, right, you know what I'm talking about. But it just seems like they stuck something in the middle of the story, and then they abridged two portions, like the left side of the story and the right side of the story, and they're like, hey, this kind of works. And you're like, did that really matter? I mean, I guess it did, but they could have just, put that in its own separate arc. This is great. So new Trailblazers will not experience that frustration. So that they are actually listening to feedback, especially about story. That is absolutely amazing. Wonderful. I can't think of anything bad to say. Next up on the list, why do all the characters have the same expressions in camera mode? Can we mix it up a bit? Whoa, is that actually a thing? I guess I haven't really experienced that too much. Each character should have a unique facial expression options that fit their personality. The crew will make improvements for some characters in the camera mode facial expression feature in version 1.1, and will continue to adjust and optimize this feature in future updates. Before, after. Oh, cool. So they made Dan Heng from having normal face to even more grumpy face. Nice. If you couldn't have made him even more grumpy, I don't know how you could have done that. Nicely done. That's all we have for this episode of the Developer Radio. Is that really all the questions they answered? Oh, man. Well, there's two things I really think they should have answered here. All right, so I think there's two questions they kind of really should have answered, in my opinion, that I think a lot of people are asking for. One, they need gear sets or some form of relic switching. Now, there's not going to be a whole lot of times that you're switching relics, but there should be a way to do it easier. So like, for example, if there's characters that use like a base set like the Musketeer set, you may be sharing that across 2 or 3 characters, and you're not always using those characters. Yes, I know that you have to have 8 characters built, yada yada yada, but sometimes you are swapping characters left and right depending if you need ice, fire, whatever, what kind of element. So they really should have like these gear sets so you can quickly switch between them. And there's a lot of times that you share light cones, especially on my Harmony characters. I'm always sharing Carve the Moon with 2 or 3 different characters, and it just gets to be a pain to remember if I equip them or not if I'm not using multiple Harmony characters in any kind of battling. All right, 2, it brings us into my other question I feel like they should have answered. There's one thing I'd like to see them fix in the combat. So there's a lot of times when I'm playing on mouse and keyboard and I'm hitting like Q, I'm hitting E and stuff like that to go between different support abilities to attack the support abilities, blah, blah, blah. That's all fine and dandy. The problem I have is when I by accidentally hit the alt. Once you hit alt, you're locked in there. Now, I get it that you can use alt to like kind of interject your player's position in between bosses and stuff like that. But I don't think being able to escape out of this would really affect the flow of battle. Yeah, it might, you might be able to slow it down and kind of use it as a pause. But that, I mean, they have a pause anyways, right, in the game that you can do that. I don't know why you can't back out of your ult. There's so many times that I by accidentally fat-fingered the ultimate that they should allow me to just back out. Like, if I don't want to use it, I don't want to use it. Maybe I use Ting Yun's ult before I, mean to do Jing Yun's ult or Yuan's ult. So that's another question I wish they would have answered. And the question I've asked them is that why don't you optimize this where we can back out? But maybe that's me. Hit me up in the comments down below if you also have that problem, or maybe that's just a me problem. I don't know. All right, that's all I got in this developer update. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll keep doing these as much as I can. And if you guys can, help support the channel once again by hitting that subscribe button, hitting that like button to support us for free. I do appreciate you. I'll see you out there in the live streams. Take it easy, and fist bump from me to you.